He slammed the lab door so hard that the glass rattled, then marched toward me with that same ugly smirk he wore every time he used his fake HOA badge. "You think the rules don't apply to you?" he barked. Before I could even answer, he grabbed my throat with one hand and pushed me against the metal table. My breath caught, but my mind stayed cold, almost too calm. He thought I was just a school teacher working late. He had no idea who he was touching. I tried to pull his wrist away, but he tightened his grip and hissed, "I told you to move your truck from the community lot. You ignored me, and now you'll learn what happens." His voice was trembling, not from fear, but from excitement. He liked this. He enjoyed this little power trip. The cameras in the ceiling blinked red, recording everything, but he didn't even notice. He thought he controlled this whole place. My vision blurred for a moment, then steadied. I whispered, "You really want to do this here?" He paused, confused, because my voice didn't sound scared. It sounded like a warning. His fingers loosened for half a second, but came right back harder when he noticed my stare. "Don't act tough," he growled, pressing me down until my back hit the table. "I run this neighborhood. I can ruin your life in one call." That's when the hallway lights flickered. He jerked his head to see who was coming, but no one was there. The motion sensors had reacted to something he couldn't see. He muttered, "Huh, stupid old school," and shifted his grip. I swallowed the burn in my throat and said quietly, "You don't know whose life you're trying to ruin." He leaned closer, his breath hot and angry on my face. "You're a teacher. You're nobody." He didn't notice. The tiny metal plate on the side of the lab cabinet, a fingerprint lock. The one I opened earlier when I came in, the one that stored the folder that could end him with a single report. I felt my pulse slow, not from fear, but from training. My old instincts were waking up. The ones I never wanted to use again, and he was too blind to see the shift. If he had looked into my eyes for even a second longer, he would have realized something was very wrong for him. But he didn't. He squeezed again, and that's the moment he made the biggest mistake of his life. His fingers dug deeper into my throat, but something in his face shifted when I didn't fight back the way he expected. Most people panic. Most try to scream or claw. I just stared at him, steady, unblinking, like I was reading him, like I already knew how this would end. That made him nervous, even if he tried to hide it. He finally let go, but only so he could shove me sideways. I stumbled against the table, coughing, and he stepped back with a little laugh. "See, you're not brave. You're just loud until someone shuts you up." He pointed at me with his fake HOA badge as if it meant something. "Tonight you're getting fined, suspended from this school, and removed from the community." I already filed the complaint. "My friends will handle the rest." He wasn't talking about real officers. I knew exactly which friends he meant. The same two men who pretended to be cops last month to scare an old couple into paying bogus HOA fees. The same ones he bragged about over barbecue like they were part of his private army. He thought they made him powerful. He didn't know they were already being watched. I rubbed my throat and said softly, "You shouldn't have touched me." That made him stop pacing. He turned toward me slowly, a confused grin stretching across his face. "Or what, you gonna report me? Do you know how many teachers quit because of me? You'll be number 8. I didn't flinch. "You still think I'm just a teacher?" He scoffed. "That's all you are." The hallway lights flickered again, twice this time, then clicked back to normal. His eyes narrowed. He wasn't sure if the building was glitching or if someone was watching. He checked the lab window, then the hallway, then my face, and for the first time he didn't look so confident. "You're recording me," he snapped. "Where's your phone?" I tapped the metal desk. "Not here." He moved closer, and for a moment, he studied me like he was trying to figure something out. I held his gaze. Calm. Too calm. My breathing was slow, controlled. My stance was balanced. And when he grabbed my arm to yank me closer, he felt the tension in my muscles, coiled, trained, ready. That's when fear flickered in his eyes. Just once, quick, then gone. He didn't know why his body reacted, but it did. He pushed me away like he needed space. "Stay right there," he ordered, and pulled out his phone. "I'm calling backup." But he wasn't calling backup, because before he could even hit the second digit, his screen lit up with a message he wasn't supposed to see, a warning, sent from someone he didn't know, a message that made his face drain white. And it had only 3 words. "We see you." His hand froze above the phone as those 3 words glowed on the screen. For a second, he didn't even breathe. Then he slowly lowered the phone, staring at it like it had turned into a bomb. Who sent this?" he whispered. But the fear in his voice was real now, not the fake authority he used on everyone else. I didn't answer. I just watched him. I could see the exact moment he realized this wasn't ordinary. His friends didn't talk like that. They didn't warn. They didn't observe. And they definitely didn't have the ability to send messages onto locked screens. He licked his lips, confused and sweating. Did you do this?" I shook my head. "You already crossed the line." Someone else noticed. He backed up until he bumped into the cabinet behind him. His voice cracked as he snapped. "Stop acting like you're some kind of threat. You're a teacher, a nobody." But the way he said it was different now, like he was trying to convince himself. I stepped forward, not fast, not aggressive, just a small movement. His shoulders tightened instantly. Every fear he buried under that fake HOA badge started crawling up his spine. He couldn't hide it anymore. "You shouldn't be here," I said quietly. He blinked. "Why?" "Because this lab is monitored." He swallowed hard. "By who? The school?" I took another slow step toward him. "Not exactly." He didn't notice my eyes shift toward the tiny black dome in the corner, the one the district thought was broken, the one actually connected to the network I set up years ago, the one tied to the unit that still checked on me even after I left. He looked up at the camera, then back at me. "That thing doesn't even work." "It does tonight," I replied. He hesitated, then tried to laugh, but it came out thin and shaky. "You're bluffing. You think you can scare me? You don't even know who you're dealing with." "That's the problem," I said. "You don't know who you're dealing with?" His jaw clenched. His eyes darted again to the phone. Another message popped up, and he jumped like someone had shouted behind him. He read it slowly, his lips trembling. "Stand down. She is classified." His throat clicked as he swallowed, and his voice dropped to a terrified whisper. "Classified. What does that mean?" I finally answered him with the truth he never expected. "It means you grabbed the wrong woman." His face went pale. His hands shook. And for the first time since he stormed through that door, he looked like the victim. He opened his mouth to speak, but we both heard it at the same time. The sound of heavy boots entering the building. Not his fake cops. Someone else. Someone real. And they were coming straight toward the lab. The footsteps grew louder, steady, controlled. Nothing like the sloppy steps of his fake officers. These were heavier, slower, purposeful. He pressed himself against the wall like he wanted to disappear into it. I could see the panic spreading through him inch by inch like cold water rising. Who is that?" he whispered. I didn't answer. I just listened. The boots paused outside the lab door, and for a moment everything went silent. No hallway hum, no outside noise. Even the air felt different. He held his breath. So did I, but not from fear. From recognition. He leaned close and hissed, "If you set me up—" "I didn't set you up," I said. "You walked right into this." His eyes twitched toward the door. "Are they here for me?" I gave a small shrug. "Depends on what you think you've done." He let out a choked laugh. "I didn't do anything. I'm just enforcing the rules." I raised an eyebrow. "And grabbing people by the throat is part of those rules?" He opened his mouth to argue, but the lab door handle turned, slow, calm, like whoever stood on the other side already knew what they'd find in here. He panicked and whispered harshly, "Say something! Tell them you attacked me. Tell them—" "You want me to lie for you now?" "You have to," he hissed. "If they find out what I did—" He didn't get to finish. The door opened, and a tall man stepped into the room wearing dark tactical gear without any badges. No name patch, no rank. Just a simple black uniform that meant one thing to people who understood. Off the record, high clearance, zero tolerance. The HOA bully pressed himself flatter against the wall like he was facing a ghost. I don't know you," he stammered. The man didn't even look at him. His eyes went straight to me. "Ma'am," he said with a calm, steady voice, "we received the alert." The bully jerked his head toward me. "Alert? What alert? Is she calling you people on me?" I didn't know. I didn't know who she was. His words tumbled out of his mouth like they were tripping over each other. The man ignored him and continued speaking to me. We reviewed the footage. "Are you injured?" Before I could answer, the bully pointed at me desperately. "She's lying! She attacked me! The man raised one hand, not even fast, and the bully froze mid-sentence. Not because he was ordered to stop, but because the man's presence made him stop. His whole body went stiff like he understood something for the first time. He wasn't the predator here. He was prey. The man took a step closer to me. "Do you want to file this formally?" The bully's eyes widened. "Formally? For what?" "I didn't do anything." Another figure appeared in the doorway, a woman this time, also in tactical gear, holding a tablet lit with the lab's camera footage. She tapped the screen and said, "It's all here." The whole assault. The bully's legs completely gave out. He slid down the wall, shaking, whispering, "No, no, this can't be happening." I looked at him calmly, then at the man in gear. "I haven't decided yet," I said. The bully stared at me with wide, begging eyes, because he knew my decision could destroy him, and he had no idea which way I would go. He sat on the floor shaking, his fake badge hanging crooked on his shirt like a joke everyone finally understood. The two officers, real ones, the kind you don't see unless something serious has happened, waited silently for my decision. The room felt heavier than before, filled with fear that didn't belong to me. I stepped closer to him, slow and steady. He looked up at me with wet eyes, clutching his throat like he was the wounded one. "Please, I didn't know who you were," he whispered. "If I knew, I would have never—" "That's the problem," I said softly. "You only respect power, not people." He flinched, the truth hitting him harder than any punishment. I turned toward the woman with the tablet. She nodded once, ready to lock in whatever I decided. The man beside her waited, calm and unreadable. "They didn't push me. They didn't influence me. They trusted me. Because of who I used to be. I don't want him arrested," I finally said. The bully's head jerked up. A spark of hope flashed in his eyes. "But," I added, "I want full reporting. All the people he threatened. All the fake notices. The couple he scared. The files he forged, everything. No hiding." His hope vanished like smoke. The woman tapped her tablet. "Already compiling. It's bad." He buried his face in his hands. No, I'll lose everything. Please." I looked at him with a calm he didn't deserve. "You almost strangled a woman in her workplace because you thought no one could stop you. Now you'll answer for all of it. Not just today." He shook his head, whimpering. "You're ruining my life." I met his eyes. "No, you ruined your own." The man signaled his partner, and they lifted him up, not rough, not angry, just firm. He didn't fight. He couldn't. His legs barely held him up. As they led him toward the door, he glanced back at me with a broken stare. Who are you really?" he whispered. I looked at him for the last time and said, "Someone who doesn't need people to fear her to be respected." The officers took him out of the lab, his steps uneven, his fake authority gone forever. The hallway went quiet again. The woman handed me the tablet. "We'll take it from here." "You don't need to be involved." "I know," I said. "But thank you for coming." The man nodded. "Your alert system is still active. If anything like this happens again, we'll be here." "I don't plan on needing you," I replied. He gave a faint smile. "People like him never learn the easy way. Good thing people like you exist." They left as silently as they arrived. I stood alone in the lab, the air settling back into its usual calm. I rubbed my throat, feeling the fading marks on my skin, and exhaled slowly. The building felt safe again. My world felt steady again. And as I locked the lab behind me, I whispered one last line. Not for him, not for them, but for myself. I didn't survive my past to be bullied in my present. And with that, his future ended. And mine moved on.